Welcome to Mastronauts, our adventure taking place in the sunny desert of not Phoenix. Starring
We're in Nevada.
the water being.
Welcome to Downtime Electric Boogaloo Part 2.
The
And her
breakdowns are real.
Spencer, the therapy cat.
Meow meow.
And her totally not boyfriend, or maybe boyfriend at this point, Transient, the matter manipulator.
Well, at least some of the conversations went well. The secret lab was a new thing. Actually, I wasn't expecting the elevator.
And Jace, the electric wizard.
It's really weird to say this, but I'm pretty sure, at least for right now, God is adjourned.
And then we have our living dead girl.
Hi! What the fuck is going on?
For anybody who's a little confused, our DM is currently away, and we've been left with the recording to ourselves until they get back. We'll still be doing all our lovely in-betweener stuff, just maybe a little less structured than usual.
And last but not least, our lovely Puddle.
Hello.
No, we started with Puddle.
Yeah, we always start with me.
I even did
last time on Mastronaut we had a number of breakdowns, a possible explosion, and we'll probably be seeing our living dead girl this time around.
Oh,
Yay!
and
an extra one section.
And our local cat man decided to defraud a pizza place.
Our local cat man did defraud a pizza place. Additionally, there was a lot of important conversation between various family members. If I recall, Transient had a conversation with his parents where they were investigating the effects of truth on his body after what happened at the casino. There was an important conversation between Wilda and her mother where she was having a breakdown. Jace had a breakdown for mostly unrelated reasons that Spencer tried to help him through, but at a certain point it became clear Jace just needed time. Spencer, again, defrauded a pizza joint. Spencer, what else did you do last session besides defraud a pizza joint?
Is Spencer the only one who's not total drama island here?
Spencer is, for all intents and purposes, the comic relief and emotional support that we all need in our lives.
You are so valid. You are the glue keeping us together.
If I recall, he also had a very sensitive but important conversation in which he revealed that Jace was quote unquote his hero and inspiration for being a hero, which Jace didn't believe, but Spencer revealed he had a little cute handmade toy of Jace.
Oh, that's just cute.
And Jace went and involved Transient and Wilda's mother, specifically, Transient's parents, Wilda's mother, in a project where he plans to use alchemy, nanomachines, and genetic research to see if he can manipulate the slag inside the body to change its effects based off what had been observed by the belt. And that led to the culmination of a reveal in which Jace revealed he had been testing the nanobots on himself.
Oh, I bet that went over great.
We're gonna be addressing that tonight. And again, the DM left us.
This was horrible. You see, I can only supervise so many people. Wait a minute, I can make more of myself. Never mind.
That's how you defrauded the pizza place.
Yeah.
Who's gonna supervise the Spencer supervising?
That's a good question. That's for Spencer number. Where'd he go?
The last thing to bring you up to speed on Dahlia is that the listed motivation behind the experiment was based off what we saw with Metallic Rouge. I believe that was the name that was given for Dahlia in armor form. Regardless. It was something Rouge. I remember it was something Rouge. I just don't remember what it was.
So based on Dahlia's reaction to it, he's gonna try to do something?
Yes. What was observed after your transformation is that when you used the belt, it extracted the slag and changed how it worked, and that caused you to briefly regenerate before, after taking the belt off, you started deteriorating again. And that led him to the conclusion that if he could properly manipulate the slag, he could theoretically slightly alter your power so that you're not in a constant state of decay, at least theoretically. And that's part of the impetus. But the other impetus is that Wilda's slow deterioration due to her own powers and becoming water more and more often outside of her own volition. But
Yeah.
the main thing
We know
that he
it didn't
observed.
purify the slag because Dahlia would just be like a corpse. So like
Well, it's not removing the slag, it's altering the way it's affecting you.
yeah.
But
Probably in
yeah,
Dahlia's case, it's actually amplifying it because that's what the water's trying to do is to regenerate her. It's just, kind of a slow seeding of ground as she loses to entropy.
well, hopefully the nanomachines can help, beat the shit out of entropy, because that always goes well. That said, I
I
believe
see
we
no
wanted to
way
start
this
off.
could possibly go poorly.
I see several ways, but you know what? That's why Jace asked people for help. Regardless, I believe the first one we wanted to tackle was there was a scene between Transient and Wilda on the clock.
Yes, we have to do stuff that we can do without the DM first.
So while God is adjourned, let's cut over to Transient and Wilda. What would you guys say the setting for this encounter is? Was it at either of your houses? Is it somewhere else? Is it at the base? Stuff
Well,
like
we
that.
just saw each other at the base, if I remember correctly.
We saw your mom at the base. I believe you're still at home though, unless you came with her.
I probably came with her for the first time.
So,
Maybe you wander off to be a little private and have this conversation.
Plenty of private rooms in the base, each of your individual rooms, the labs, etc.
Yeah, no, and keep in mind, your mom was freaking out about Marla's space.
yeah, so they're currently in Marla's space having a shouting match?
Yes. ...
So they're having Grey's
Discussion.
Anatomy style fights about genetics.
Okay. Oh. Hey, Edward. Your tail's going a mile a minute.
Sorry, player has to get back into mindset because I was just adorable. Hey, Wilda. So we've got problems.
With our moms or with us?
As we hear shouting in the background. With our moms. We really need to separate those two.
Do you want me to pick up your mom or my mom?
Let me pick up my mom, you pick up yours, and we'll see how things go from there.
Okay. I did want to talk to you about some stuff.
Let's separate those two and maybe get one of them talking to Jace about apparently experimenting on himself.
Yeah, he has been. He's blacking out.
Oh boy. So we go Edward starts wandering off to the room that has the level 12 audio suppression system, and it's still we're still able to hear them.
Acting briefly on behalf of the DM, I feel like it would be most appropriate to ask for, I don't know, either strength checks or persuasion checks to get your parents to stop.
Well, neither one of us is persuading people, so
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt an athletics.
Fair enough.
Is it athletics or strength?
Technically, it'd be athletics, I
Okay.
think, in
If
this
you
case.
have the proficiency in athletics, go for it. I don't know if you guys have points in that, though.
If you're trying to grab her, I believe you have fast grab, Kage, so you should be able to roll with that.
Yes, but I'm not in water form.
Ah, okay.
Fair enough.
Do we want to consider this a teamwork check?
I feel like we should, otherwise you're going to be beaten out by two relatively normal-ish people as superheroes.
Marla is absolutely not a regular human.
I said normal-ish. There was a caveat on the end of that, and there was an asterisk.
So 15 for me, 18 for her. Or we can assume that Edward manages to pick up his mom, throw her over his shoulder, and starts walking out of the lab.
I guess on behalf of the DM, I'll just briefly. You call that a double helix analysis? I could do better in my sleep. As she's pulled out of the lab.
The sexual tension is raging.
Come on, Mom.
I guess in the
Mom, I told you to bury the hatchet already. Yeah, go work with Dad on whatever Jace was having him work on.
Yeah, man, rather bury the hatchet. All right, I'll go help him out. He's probably gonna mess something up anyways if I don't try and destroy all the research on the slag. And I guess she will go do that for convenience sake.
Get Mom a bottle of wine. Don't even bother getting her a glass.
She will absolutely just take the bottle by the neck and start drinking from it, probably starts doing calculations faster.
Yep.
Alright, those two are separated.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go find someplace a bit quieter.
My room or your room?
With our parents here, we might want to do Jace's room.
Okay.
So,
Grabs his hand.
I'd say since he's not having a meltdown, Jace is probably not in Jace's room, but Jace's room is probably open. So there is a room that looks like it's made out of entirely a series of grid squares on every surface. And it seems like things can sink into and come out of the walls at various points, depending on what's required.
Modular. Wasn't expecting quite that.
I mean, it's neat.
Well, it makes crafting a lot easier.
How are you feeling?
Didn't get a proper diagnosis, so not entirely sure. Wasn't feeling particularly great after Truth took over. And a little freaked out at yelling at the gods.
But
You?
I may have cried in my mother's arms.
So we're both processing.
I can't do the water thing anymore. I just can't.
So, well, all we can do at this point, at least as far as that goes, is try and help Jace with his project.
Yeah. But I'm also not sure if it's a great idea seeing what's happening with Jace right now.
Well, we gotta figure out what the malfunction is with whatever he was working on.
Yeah.
Transient will pull Puddle into a hug and start stroking the ears.
Instant calm down. Just in his arms.
So we just have to figure this out. And hope that whatever your spirit guide found out manages to get fixed in time. Hopefully without our intervention.
I mean, do you really think it would go that well?
We are talking about the Greeks and the Norse, so
And
yeah, we're gonna have to be on high
truth.
alert. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how often truth will be able to come out like that. I think it was a special occasion.
It looked like he was gonna take you over.
It's possible. Not entirely sure about how a pure concept managed to maintain my body for as long as it did.
And you're sure you're fine? Do we need to go to the treatment room?
We might want to find out if anything else advanced in me.
We should do that, but we need to talk to Jace first to make sure he is okay.
Yeah, we probably should. By the way, you seen Spencer anywhere?
And I feel like that would be
No.
a great moment to briefly cut over. Where is Spencer at this moment?
I don't know. You tell us.
I don't know, Spencer,
Spencer?
where you at?
What have you done? Where are you? Where and when are you?
That's a great question. Let me roll a d20.
We're leaving this up to chance. For those of you at home, we have 2 new hashtags. Hashtag it's so weird temp DMing in another universe. And hashtag no one expects the Japanese pantheon.
And what
Oh,
does an
boy.
18 get him?
Spencer, would you like to do this or should I do this? And would you prefer this 18 be the when or the where?
Let's let the 18 be the when.
So you are pretty sure you're in relatively the right time. Pyragol, for the most part, looks the same. Whamco looks the same. You're not sure where you've ended up. Last you recall, all, what was it, 127, or is that the number of mansions? I forget at this point. Regardless, whatever the multitude of Spencer was, the Legion, were out on the town after getting a bunch of pizzas and economically collapsing a pizza joint.
Question, Spence. When your clones recombine, does that make the money disappear?
Could you repeat that?
When your clones recombine, does the money disappear?
Hmm.
We need to figure out if you're an infinite matter generator or not.
The answer would, you know what? Call high or low.
I feel like as the temp DM, I need to call that high. That is not
40.
high.
So, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Yes.
Please strategically give us the bad news first, so that the odds of Ace coming back in at the wrong time and hearing it are lower.
Okay. The bad news is that the dollar bills do not disappear.
What's the good news?
The good news is that the Spencers understand that they have $20 bills every time they generate.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We're about to defraud the entire town. Oh boy.
Alright, Spencer's gonna cause an economic collapse. I'll just leave that time bomb. I'll put it over in the corner and let Ace unwrap that when he gets back. But Spencer, you've had presumably an economically unsustainable amount of pizza. And now that you've had an economically unsustainable amount of pizza, what would you, yourself, and yourselves like to do?
Well, would you like to know something funny?
Oh, certainly. I'd love to know something funny.
You see, with one of my forms, Protector, and my other form, Copycat, my clones can't copy me flying, but they absolutely do not disappear when I change forms.
See, I was worried for a minute that you were going to say they could copy your flying and it would just be Spencer's blocking out the sun.
No, that's not nearly... That would be very funny, but they can't copy that.
Yet.
However, the funny part about that is Spencer is fucking strong when he's flying. So Spencer would absolutely, with zero hesitation, take at least 5 of his friends and fly to the moon.
Okay, so you've deployed 5 Spencers on the moon. What are the 5 moon Spencers doing?
Call Harlow.
Oh no, are the moon Spencers figuring out whether or not the moon is cheese?
Maybe, maybe not. Call Harlow.
Hi.
Top 20 percentile. So,
What's the damage?
there is bad news, good news, worse news, and horrible news.
Are we about to lose the mass of the moon?
No.
I don't-
Would you like the good news first?
Sure.
The good news is that the Spencers are smart enough to know they can't breathe on the moon. The bad news is that Spencer Prime can breathe on the moon and give other people the effect of breathing in space.
As long
The
as they're
worst
kicking him.
news. So the worst news is that they managed to find a moon buggy. The horrible
Okay.
The horrible news is they found the crater where NASA dumps all of their space trash.
All right. So, what is Spencer Prime and his 5 closest duplicates going to do with space trash, Spencer?
Are going to invade the Watch family mansion on the moon.
I don't know if I have the authority to canonize that or not.
I don't think you do.
No, I don't believe so. I believe that does have to be a god roll.
Fair enough. Then
In
instead,
the meantime, we'll say that it is the greatest raccoon stash you have ever discovered.
now, however, listen, this is even funnier. They start spelling out Spencer in massive letters on the moon.
Okay. So what do they do after they have spelled out Spencer on the moon?
So,
Spencer.
there's not going to be enough trash for this Spencer to be visible, but I'm sure Spencer will be very proud of it and then confused about why his name vanished.
Well, see, It would be visible on the moon with a telescope. Even if you gathered all the trash in space, to make it visible without a telescope all the time, I think would be statistically impossible, at least in 2003. I don't think we have enough trash in space yet at that time.
There's not enough trash in space to make it visible even with a telescope.
I don't know. We've been throwing trash up there since the 1960s, so.
I think there's enough to spell it where it would be visible with a telescope, but you would have to look at the right spot. I don't think you could, like, write Spencer so big that just one side of the moon says Spencer, but there is a Spencer up there somewhere, and it's like, how in the hell?
Aliens!
Listen, all the other cats on Earth wish they could do that.
Well, you know the moment that it starts spreading throughout the early 2000s
Yeah.
internet, Dahlia's dad is going to say, "See, the aliens exist."
God,
Absolutely.
Thinking of cat behavior, I've just suddenly imagined the idea of Spencer coming across a cartoonish villain lair on an island and just Spencer doing the cat thing, slowly pushing it off the cliff into the ocean.
Well, here's the fun.
All those villain layers are built to explode anyways.
Let's help them along. Anyway,
Oh, boy.
so the rest of like 5 minutes is spent on the moon, just putting on helmets and just kind of running around in moon buggies like Flintstone style, shoving their feet straight through the bottom of it.
All right.
Now listen, the moon doesn't have the same gravity that Earth does. So let me roll an athletics check and see what happens.
Sure, bud, go for it.
I swear to God, if Spencer just straight up jumps to Earth.
Well, depending on the angle and where they are on the moon, you may send one of your Spencers off into the void.
It's so funny to me to imagine, wow, this is space. I'm so glad. Spencer, why is there another version of you just floating in space, frozen and dead? And Spencer's like, oh man, that's Jeremy. I wonder where he went.
You think if I take his helmet off, it'll be like the Magic School Bus episode?
Where he's all frozen and weird, and everyone's like, no.
Roll that athletics check, and I guess call high or low, and we'll see if they go towards Earth or the outer universe.
That's so great. All right. Let me find my rolls here. We have gotten off the rails very fast.
Very track. Yep, that's us.
All right. Now let me, as Spencer, in the protective form, jump. That's an athletics. That's going to be a +8.
He's gonna come back and read these hashtags and be like, "What the hell were you doing?"
That's an 18.
All right, call high or low.
Low.
Hi.
I am afraid one of your duplicates is slowly drifting off towards the Kuiper Belt.
You know, it's even funnier than that.
What would
He's
that
prob-
be?
He's probably wearing a spacesuit. So he's
Somewhere.
fine. He's just drifting off into space.
Somewhere out there, far beyond the reach of the galaxy, one of those fancy probes is going to come across, decades later, a black cat with a gray beard inside a spacesuit frantically waving at them.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna lead to the assumption that there are cat aliens somewhere out there.
3 years later, a yellow flying school bus manages to pass by this floating sculpture of a cat.
Regardless. Well, that Spencer is off on their eternal voyage into the great beyond. What would the other 4 surviving normie Spencers and Spencer Prime like to do.
You know what? That was really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and fly back to Earth. No, wait. I've got a better idea.
Oh no.
Alright.
I want to fly to Mars.
Okay.
Give me a second. What's your speed, Spencer?
I have intergalactic travel rank 3.
That tells me nothing. What
Oh,
does it
sorry.
say?
Now, it's movement space rank 3, which means I can move to other galaxies in like a move action.
Fun! So Spencer arrives on Mars with the duplicates, the survivors.
I would like to immediately find one of the closest Mars rovers.
You come across, I think it's Curiosity that was up there at that time.
Hold on.
Let me take a look.
Oh my god.
Spencer, high or low?
Low.
This is one of the active ones then. You're on camera. Congratulations.
So NASA sees 4 cats in spacesuits land on the surface of Mars, being carried by a giant winged alien-looking cat being. And then they immediately, I presume, swarm around the rover and begin poking at it until it moves.
Yep.
I'll let the DM, whenever they return, decide the scientific ramifications of this discovery for the rest of humankind. Moving along, what would you like to do after poking and prodding the rover for a while?
You see, after a long 30 seconds of doing this, I would like to... Oh, wait. I just realized something. Let me look at these immunities I gave the clones.
Yeah, but they only have the immunities for as long as you're touching them.
No. The clones have immunity.
Oh no.
I think he built like a small army of clone tanks.
Oh, no!
Do.
You see, I may or may not have given them the immunity to aging.
Alright, so there is an eternal space cat out in the great beyond. But,
he's immortal from aging. He's still gonna die of suffocation though. That's a terrible way to go.
It is a terrible way to go, but he's going to do it in a funny pose.
he's gonna commit to the bit, as all Spencers would. Speaking of Spencers, aside from the one who's off in the void to eventually confuse the hell out of all known scientists and alien invaders, what's the 4 in Prime doing?
The 4 in Prime will once again draw Spencer in massive letters on the surface of Mars.
Okay, I assume this time you're gonna do it by like carving it into the surface of the planet since there's no junk up here yet?
Yes. I believe that would be an athletics check.
Yeah, make me an athletics check to carve Spencer into the surface of Mars.
I've
Now do
claimed
an
this
intelligence
planet
check
the
to make sure
name
you
of
write it, spell
Spencer.
it correctly.
What was that?
No, do an intelligence check to make sure you spell it correctly.
Fair
Well,
enough.
we'll do the intelligence check after, but first, athletics.
All right. Athletics. That's a +8.
For each of the clones?
For each of the clones, it's a lot higher.
I
I
made
made
it for each of the clones, so.
Okay, each of the clones have a +12 in athletics, so let me just roll 4d20. Okay.
Yeah, I
so,
think they successfully carved something into the surface of Mars.
Now let me roll an intelligence check to direct them. Let's see, what's my intelligence? 0. Great. Let's see what the base d20 is going to get.
That one would be so funny.
It's
A 5! Yes.
Well, you write out your name, and you're pretty sure it's your name. But anyone who'd be looking at this from Earth would notice a few things that mean that it's not the name Spencer. First and foremost, you notice that, well, you don't notice, but other people will notice that you have spelled Spencer with, first and foremost, a Z. You have done ZPFNKER.
Listen, 20 years in the future, I will have created the alien meme.
They will look at this name now and assume it was made by aliens, because God knows that's not human.
Yep. And once I'm done, this is the funny part. Call her low.
Hi.
All right. Venus. That's pretty good. It was high, right?
Yes.
It's low.
Ooh, it's low. Spencer has a diabolical idea.
Oh boy.
Oh no, he's had a cat idea.
Spencer would like to push something off of the surface of Mars.
What are you pushing off the surface of Mars?
You see,
Mars
there are
is not a flat surface. It's just going to keep moving along the surface, Spencer.
No.
Now
no,
listen,
we want to
how hard
hear.
he
Trying to
pushes
push
it.
something off of Mars, and he just keeps batting it around until he gets back to where he was.
I love the idea that this is like, sir, a rover has moved over 5,000 kilometers. Oh my God, where'd it go? Oh, just in a circle, sir. What?
Yes. Yes.
And it's depleted none of its battery. My God, play back the footage. It's just Spencer going, hi, I'm on TV. Hi, Mom.
Of course, he's got the space helmet on, and there's no atmosphere up there, so he's just making movements with his mouth, and they're like trying to read the lips of this cat.
We've gathered our greatest cryptographers and lip readers across America, and we have determined that he has said the following words. This planet is mine. Hi, Mom, I'm on TV. Mr. President, any actions? Nuke Mars.
I don't have the authority for that. Anything else the Spencers would like to do before we go back to Earth for normal people stuff?
I'm joking, by the way. However, Spencer, after a long, maybe like 6 minutes of doing this, will get tired of it. And because of the low roll, he will, after batting around the rover for a while, set it back on its tracks, grab up the other 4 of them. Hold on, let me make an intelligence check to make sure he doesn't forget one of them.
You can do this one at advantage since they are literally part of you.
So +5.
That's still a 9.
I think a 9 is enough for you to remember all of them.
Just as I'm about to leave, Spencer 4 just goes, what about me? And then Spencer just kind of wraps his tail around his ankle, and he's like, this is going to be... Oh! And he's just getting dragged around, getting the absolute whiplash of getting flown back to Earth. And I guarantee you that somewhere DARPA or like NORAD is just going, sir, something's entering the atmosphere at Mach fuck.
Mach fuck is
Oh.
the technical term, by the way.
It's
It
too
is.
early to be Santa. Shoot it down. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's funnier. However, he will land back in Pyrogol. Do I need to make an intelligence check to find Pyrogol?
I feel
You
like
just
this
follow.
is-
You follow
I
the
think
tellers
if
to
you
the
run
rest of
around
your
the
clones.
entire planet and find it in the time it would take you to make the roll.
I would like to, purely for comedic purposes and to potentially arm the DM with future stuff, ask you to call high or low.
Okay. Low.
We just need to see if you've accidentally done the hero trope and accidentally brought back some kind of space bacteria or something. you have brought back space bacteria.
He brought back space fleas.
From Mars. They are Mars fleas.
I will let the
Yes.
demon know whenever he returns that there are now space fleas on Earth because of Spencer. Moving along. Is there any
We'll
last thing
treat
you'd
your
like to do
cancer or something.
before we cut back to base?
I would like to, in the most cat-like fashion, find an ice cream shop, buy an ice cream, and then stick my face into it like a little kitten would, and just slowly pull it up, covered in ice cream, all gross. And that's where I end my turn.
All right, we cut back over to the base for now because I know we need to get to you two before you have to leave.
I don't get a turn?
Do you want to turn now? I have no idea how much time they have.
They have 40
we have
minutes?
about an hour and 40.
Okay, in
Hour
that
and 30.
case. In that case, we will cut over to Dahlia for now. Dahlia, what are you doing? Are you at the base? Are you at home? How have you been using this breakdown time since running
Well,
away and shooting a god?
well, while the breakdown, I guess this is back in time, like while you guys are having the breakdown, Dahlia is with her dad. And she's in the old car. The one that like smells kind of like old French fries and cheap air freshener. And she is trying to learn how to drive. Now, she has borrowed a car before, I think, from one of her friends, and she knows theoretically how to drive. She does not know how to drive with her dad looking over her shoulder and being paranoid.
I'm going to add a caveat to this.
Yes.
You know your dad probably has been trying to teach you a little bit of driving. However, your father is your father. He has not been doing the sensible thing and teaching you defensive driving. Defensive driving is for pansies who don't know what to do when they come across an alien. He is teaching you aggressive driving so that you will run that fucker down with like they're a deer in the headlights.
I accept this. This sounds correct.
And I guess make me a vehicles check to see how you do shorten up with your dad's guidance.
All right, let me pull up Dahlia.
Dahlia, go ahead and add a +2 to that because your dad is teaching you how to drive.
Yeah, that was the +2 circumstance bonus.
Okay, so vehicles. And how close to her friends is she feeling right now? Like, have you talked to her about does she know you've been doing experiments on yourself to try to help her? Do you know?
Experiments yet, but he has told you he's working on research that may be able to help you. Just
Okay,
wouldn't
so
keep that from you.
okay, good. That means her intellect is the high one. All right, so she is going to. Oh, okay. That's a nice roll. All right. 20 plus 9. 27. Oh, wait, I forgot to add the +2. 29.
Yeah, despite the aggressive driving, you managed to do a lap of the neighborhood without getting pulled over and without hitting anybody. You almost take
I
out a
managed to
mailbox
take down an
briefly when your dad.
armadillo.
Go ahead.
I went over an armadillo all by myself. My dad is so proud.
I was gonna say that there's a brief moment where your dad confuses like a cute little green mailbox that's been set up in advance of Halloween, and is like, "Nope, that's an alien. You better wait. No, that's a mailbox. Swerve, swerve."
So,
We're laying down booby traps to try and disarm our cars.
hey, Dad, is that why the car has to go into the shop so often?
I'm afraid so, Dahlia. These damn aliens pouring soda in our cars and putting salt in the engine. Green little bastards.
Dents in the front?
Sorry, I missed that part. What?
And dents in the front?
Yeah, they tried to run. They weren't fast enough.
You're pretty cool too, Dad. I guess that kind of makes you like a hero too.
Well, I don't like to think of myself as a hero, Dahlia. I just like to think of myself as a patriot who's doing the right thing to protect his country.
God bless America. And she says that like totally seriously.
In true early 2000s fashion, as you pull into the driveway, there's a brief pan shot where there's just a giant American flag for no reason.
Oh, absolutely. So
It's covering her entire backyard.
It's less than a year since the incident, quote unquote, happened. So obviously, patriotism is in full swing. God bless America.
So Dahlia gets out of the car. She checks everything over and tosses the keys to her dad and says, "So could I borrow the car sometimes? I'm a good driver. You saw."
I'll have to take some time to consider that. We need to make sure that your form for hitting the alien on the right part of the vehicle so that you can keep going but still take out the alien is perfect. But I'll consider it.
I hit that armadillo. And
You
that's
did
probably
hit
like
that
way
armadillo.
smaller than an alien.
You did hit that armadillo. He's like running his hands along his chin thinking about it. I'll say he holds off on deciding for now because I feel like that's also a DM decision.
Yeah, I'll put a good word in with your mother.
If you make sure that all your chores are done and you've given me that essay on how you would best deal with an alien from Alpha Centauri, then I'll make sure to put in a good word.
You know what the best part of all this is?
What's that?
Now there will be aliens.
There will be aliens thanks to the space fleas.
I do. I say this purely as a joke, and because in real life there's been enough time. This would probably be exceptionally insensitive in the actual time this is set in. I feel like Dahlia's dad would unironically believe that aliens incited Al Qaeda to attack the United States because there's no other way they'd be stupid enough to attack the greatest nation on Earth.
I feel like there's not enough crazy steps in there. Like, sure, that's crazy, but he would actually believe that the aliens were trying to control Al Qaeda to fly to the moon in airplanes, and that the space madness got to Al Qaeda when they were flying into space after hijacking the planes, and then they attacked America.
A better idea that is weirdly in line, but would also make it so that for some reason he was anti-Desert Storm. I love the idea that he thinks aliens incited Al Qaeda to attack the United States. So the United States would go to war in the Middle East so that it would weaken the United States military so that the aliens would have an easier time invading.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's the one.
Oh my
The thing about Dahlia's dad is that you can't just go, "Oh, they're putting chemicals in the water that will make your kids gay." No. That's too simple. The government is putting chemicals in the water.
Controlled by the aliens.
Exactly, controlled by the aliens, and it's actually part of a deeper plot so that they can read your mind.
See, I feel like, depending on how you want your dad to be characterized, there can always be a twist. You're like, all right, he's going to say the most right-wing, crazy, conservative conspiracy theorist thing. But and then there's a slight twist on it where he's weirdly progressive. Like, I like the idea of they're putting chemicals in the water that will make your children gay. And it's like, the government is putting chemicals in the waters that will make our children gay, so their children will be less attracted when the vixen aliens who can shapeshift into hot members of the opposite sex attack the planet.
Oh my
I feel
god.
like it has to be like just a step past right wing into like totally like cuckoo land. Like
he takes a step off the right side of the board and plants 1 foot on the left side because he's so over the edge.
The water's making your kids gay, but really the whole point is
America.
Fuck yeah.
Fortification against alien influence. God bless America, always making the right choices.
I can absolutely see the dad wearing just the biggest baseball cap, like a mile high. It's impossible to walk into doors without ducking.
God, that hashtag's gonna throw Ace for a loop.
Yes, thank you. I need the hashtag to remember it. I'll have to copy and paste it whenever I forget. So I guess so Dahlia's done with the first scene, so I'm caught up now with y'all for post breakdown. And I guess the
Yes.
next day is whenever she finds out. I don't know how she finds out about it. I guess she needs to find out that Jace was actually experimenting on himself.
In
So I
that
guess
case,
that means
maybe it would be a good idea to
for
have
her to go
Dahlia and Spencer returning to the base. One of them covered in ice cream, and the other one being like, "Oh, hey guys, what are we up to today? What's going on?" And then
and Dahlia like
Transient
has
World
her
being
learner's permit, like Dahlia has her learner's permit like on her like belt, like it's an FBI badge, just like check
Yes.
it out.
It's on one of those little zip strings so she can shove it in your face, then it zips back to her fucking belt.
Yes,
It's got-
exactly.
It's the zip string, which has got a learner's permit, like tiny copy of her birth certificate to prove she's human, and then a bunch of dog tags.
Sex, definitely not an alien.
Yeah, the dog tags are there so that the aliens will recognize that she is from America and is therefore a super warrior.
That's why everyone needs to fight everyone else, because obviously America's best and America wears dog tags.
And I
Yes.
imagine this is a conversation that is happening between Dahlia and Spencer as they step off the elevator
Yeah,
into the
he's
base.
just casually explaining about the dangers of aliens and how they're going to attack us and they're going to make our dogs like go super crazy and like bite people, but the dog bites are actually going to cause more global warming.
Listen, I love the idea that Spencer's nodding to this, and it slowly zooms into his head, and it's just a bunch of like cats in an office. It's all Spencer's, and they're all wearing slightly different outfits. And like one of them's like, it's like, "Boss, you're not gonna believe this. Dog bites cause global warming." And he's like, "I knew those bastards were up to something."
Wait a minute. Call high or low for something. I need to roll for something.
Hi.
Low, excellent. You have taken this information. You have internalized it. Dogs plus global warming equal aliens. Therefore, Weatherman is working with the aliens.
Weatherman.
Dolly is just pleased that like someone is finally listening to the wisdoms her father has been teaching her, because like Dolly like keeps like investigates a lot of things, and her father is clearly on the forefront of information technology as it stands, because she can't find support for what he's been teaching her, but like he's her dad, he obviously knows what he's talking about, right?
You
And I
see,
feel
So
like the running bit is
Hey,
going to be that
Jace.
eventually everything he says is right.
I would
Hey,
love that.
Jace,
Yeah?
call high or low.
oh no,
Hi.
oh no.
Okay. High enough. As soon as Spencer steps foot into the base, the standard entrance scan happens.
It
Jace,
picks up that there is a single alien flea. There is a non-native life form on Spencer, and the base alarm sounds. Dahlia, you have been informed there is an alien in the base.
Oh my god, it's happening! The dogs!
Oh my god. Chase, you have no idea how fucking full circle this has come. Everyone comes to Spencer. Everyone ties him down. We have to kill Spencer. And then they zoom in. There's a flea on his head. It's controlling him.
Wait a minute, no, this is all tying back to Kekai Sensen. This is where Jace's avatar comes from. This was the first episode.
Yes, it is.
It's all connected. It's a conspiracy, damn it.
Oh my god.
By the aliens.
You know, the DM left us alone for an hour and we've really expanded the world.
Dahlia, make me a perception.
So Dahlia like turns to Spencer, like she's got tears in her eyes, and she's like holding a wavering gun at him, like, "I'm sorry, I have to do this."
She fires the gun and kills the flea.
That's why I'm asking for the perception check to see if they see that it's the flea. If they detect there is a second living organism.
Oh no, Dahlia's perception's not great.
This is alien, Dahlia. You've prepared for this. You've trained for this. Circumstance bonus of +2.
Plus
That's not
5.
gonna help much.
+5.
D20
Spencer's
plus
looking down.
3.
He's looking down the. Oh my god!
So not only do I see it,
You,
I fucking shoot the flea off of the top of Spencer's head.
you turn and you quick draw and you blow away the flea. There is alien goo on the side of the elevator.
You know what the
The
funniest
alarm
part of
stops
this is?
sounding. I imagine Wilda and Transient have come over because the alarm started blaring. Like, what
And
happened?
then you heard a single
You know what the-
gunshot.
Hold on.
No,
Dahlia
listen.
is like blows the smoke off of her gun and
No.
says, "For my father and my country."
No,
Absolute
that's-
fear.
No, something's about to happen. Dahlia, you see Wilda, but she's got ears and a tail.
Oh shh, Spencer.
Yeah.
The aliens. They must have gotten to her.
No,
She's
that's
turning
that's
into one of the dogs.
no. Spencer, knowing Wilda would never do him harm, makes an insight check at advantage.
Okay,
So that's a +2 for base advantage.
All right.
Oh,
I have to
okay.
check. Now listen, the best part of this is that off screen, some Mars Emperor somewhere is like, "Why didn't you kill the cat?"
They got our scouts. They're on to us. Abort the plan.
We'll have to recall the dogs.
10% of all dogs on Earth suddenly vanish. Nobody understands why.
That's weird. Didn't we have a dog? Yeah, I don't remember when we got it or when it left, but I thought there was a dog at one point. 11.
I'd say, Spencer, you pick up on the fact that she's in fact not an alien because this happened before the alien alarm. You remember seeing her at the house with ears and a tail.
Now
You
listen.
also remember seeing the ghost wolf in the weird peyote dimension.
Now, Spencer, remembering this, will just kind of tilt his head up and like cup his chin, and then a thought bubble forms up that literally everyone can see. And in a very, very edited, extremely Michael Bay version of what happened, it's like, "I'm sorry, Spencer, you have to go on without me." And then her ears sprout out and her tail sprouts out, and he's like, but Wilda, I killed the space flea." And they're all just like holding hands and a crayon drawing, "You did it! Yay!" Ah, yes. I remember
Spencer
that.
also be like, well, she's not a dog, she's a wolf.
That's completely different.
Listen, wolves are fine. They're more intact with our animal ancestors, unlike those pit bulls.
Dahlia says, "You're right. I don't know what I was thinking. Sorry, Puddle.
I would like to throw this in here very briefly because this sounds like the kind of shit your dad would say. Clearly, only aliens could have been so cruel as to create pugs.
To both us and themselves. And the dogs themselves."
Please continue.
Well, Dahlia's apology still stands.
Thank you, I guess.
Well, anyway, I was wanting to talk to Jace. He said something about, well, he was working on something for me, and, I don't know, I wanted to see how it was going. See if he needed any test subjects. I mean, I kind of got the immortal thing going on, so, what?
I need a moment. Spencer broke me.
Jace.
Sorry,
Well-
DM is in the middle of a task. What is Jace being called for? Temp DM is in the middle of a task. What is Jace being called for?
After all of that happened, Transient's just calling out to Jace. I think we got some alien goo for you to study.
Call high or low for something.
I'll call high for this.
Jace doesn't believe you. It's actually alien goo. My God.
Well, Jace is experimenting on himself first.
My God, the
Why?
aliens got to him out of character.
Why would he? I mean, what, like little experiments? Like,
Belt experiments.
well, the belt's great. I love the belt. The belt's awesome. Sure, he can wear the belt all he wants. Didn't he like make it?
He injected nanobots into his bloodstream and he's blacking out now.
Okay, why the Spencer? Please cover your ears.
Spencer covers his ears with frying pans.
What
Why
about the other four
fuck would he
Spencers?
do that?
All
She
other
taps you,
four
Spencer, so
Spencers
you know
cover
that
their
you can
ears
take
with
them off.
frying.
No, but seriously, I'm right here. I'm already dead. What? Why the hell not? I mean,
He said that he was already an experiment, so.
He didn't exactly inform us before this point either.
I'll go talk to him. I don't know.
I was about to sniff him out, but we heard the alarm.
Oh yeah, an alien hitchhiked a ride on Spencer, and well, all that training for my dad came in handy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna clean that up real fast. Collect it for study.
As you actually say that, Rockin' Prime comes up and is like, "Ah, it appears there is some kind of sample here. I will grab this so that young Jace has something to study." And he will go to reach for it, and because of the high or low call, Rockin' Prime goes to collect it, and then you see the light go out behind his eyes, and he just goes static. And Spencer, the AI Jace built for you also goes down.
Spencer doesn't notice anything because he completely forgot he had it.
Rockin' Prime.
However, Spencer, noticing his best friend because he absolutely idolizes everything Jace makes, goes, "Oh no, they lost their batteries. I have to get some double A's quickly."
Hey, Jace.
That's not a good sign.
Dahlia is going to sniff the air herself because, I mean, he already smells kind of like metallic, which is like delicious to Dahlia because of the coppery taste of blood.
I guess perception checks to hunt down a Jace.
All right.
Hold on, let me look up scent real quick, because I took that as a power.
I'm gonna do a quick alchemization and collect this material. That's 16.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
I can
formed my
find
stuff.
him so long as I hit a 10.
All right.
I can't smell anything over dog. Sorry, wolf.
I would expect it to be cat, given that there's 5 of them here.
No, I'm kind of used to the smell of cat by now. It's weird, actually.
You can't smell anything over the sense of
Fucking
patriotism.
shit. Wow, I typed in the wrong thing, but it's a 13 plus 6.
Okay, that's a 19, so
19.
you do smell Jace.
Yeah.
Spencer, did you want to make a check to see if you can sniff him out? Or I guess use your small army of clones to scan every inch of Pyrogal for them.
For Jace? Absolutely. Now hold on. Check this perception on my copycat.
As he's doing the perception check, I'm going to, after I've alchemized and gotten the sample, I will call out to the base's AI if it's functioning. Perseus?
Perseus actually responds back. Hello there. AI functionality for the base is 50%. What can I help you with?
Location of Jace, if he's on base.
Last known location of Creator is sublevel 2, primary laboratory 3.
You got direction arrows for us? Or guidelines?
So that modular look that a lot of the base has, where it looks like just built out of cubes, you see the cubes form up in the shape of green arrows pointing in the direction. Wilda is running ahead of the arrows.
Alright.
Tail wagging, because obviously this is something the wolf brain would enjoy.
Yep, alright. Oh, better follow the girlfriend.
Spencer, there are arrows forming. Clearly, these arrows lead to something. Maybe they lead to buried treasure.
Spencer grabs a shovel and immediately starts running in the direction.
And,
Dolly
I
is
don't know.
like, I'm gonna have a come to Jesus talk with Jace.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are.
As you make it down to the laboratory, and I am currently looking for the right art for this that isn't too egregious, but also feels appropriately Jace. This feels very Jace. I'll grab this one.
Also, Dahlia is now immune to toughness and fortitude effects.
I knew the Chihuahuas were all aliens.
That's what broke me. That's what broke me.
Would this go in heroic examples or in general?
I don't know.
Heroic examples.
Yeah, for that one, for what Jace is doing, yeah.
So you enter into this lab space after passing a series of other after passing a series of other lab spaces. And at the back of the lab, you can see that someone is currently welding. However, they don't look like Jace. At least not very much like Jace. What?
Kage, are you okay?
I'm fine.
I'm under attack by a dog. Ah! Please, Papa, just get on the bed. Just get up here. You can do it. I know you have hops. Come on. He keeps trying to like put his paws on my chest instead of just getting up here.
Someone's welding and it doesn't look like Jace.
Yes. And it doesn't look like any of the other 3 residents of the base or anyone's parents. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, yes, this is the visual. As you approach, you see this individual, which I will put in heroic examples, currently welding on what appears to be some kind of device that has several small, you assume thrusters or rockets on the sides, a sort of blade affixed at the front, some kind of maybe small blaster or something attached to the front beneath the blade, and they are currently working on welding some circuitry into place.
The Death Glider. And for those of you who are watching this at home, the GM has currently left us for an hour and 15 minutes.
That was a mistake.
We have been left unsupervised, and the canon has changed forever.
Yes.
Hey there, person.
I'm
just
sniffing the person.
They don't look like Jace at all. Their body language is completely wrong. They are standing but they do smell like Jace. But here's the fun part. Spencer, which form are you in?
I am in base form. I can see emotions. And souls.
Jace normally looks like a sort of collection of storm clouds and electricity, kind of around like a, I guess not crystalline, but a metallic structure. And it's normally a deep blue color. This individual is almost entirely the metallic structure with none of the clouds, and it's all deep purple.
Interesting. So it's very similar to Jace, but not quite.
Yes.
Spencer's going to think for a moment and then go, are you Jace's brother or something? Or
Wait, Jace has a. I thought he had a sister.
He has 3 elder
no,
brothers
this one
and 1
this
elder
one's
sister.
soul looks like Jace, but it's kind of different. It's almost like Jace has a secret or brother or something. I don't know.
He has 3 brothers that are publicly known about and an elder sister. And this is not any of those 3 brothers.
It
Hey,
smells like
Perseus.
Jace.
Calculate
Miss-
the Perseus. Calculate the approximation that this is Jace, the creator.
Beginning calculations. And it's like, well, that's all well and good. Could you stop sniffing me, please? That's very strange. Just staring at Wilta.
But you don't look like Jace.
Is that the Green Goblin glider?
Well, hang on now. I'm trying to make this more like a surfboard rather than whatever that was. It looked more like a hang glider, I guess. And, I guess technically, but I'd prefer if you'd call me Jules.
Hi, Jules.
Hello.
Hi. Can we talk to Jace? Cause I'm kind of pissed at him right now, but also like grateful and frustrated and a whole bunch of other things. And I think we should just clear the air.
Well, that'll have to wait just a few minutes. I'm in the process of currently working on this glider, and my brain is simultaneously in the background working on the programming for the nanobots so that I can improve that. Oh, hey, is our DM back? DM, would you like me to bring you up to speed as they are meeting Jace for the first, Jules for the first time?
You have to forgive me. As soon as I got done dealing and bringing back heat and flame to another person's apartment, I come back to find that there has been an introduction, and I quote, of space, please.
Okay, so to go down the list, I'll explain
worry,
this in
don't
chronological
it.
order. I'll do this in chronological order since I've been acting as the temp DM, and there's a few things I decided not to say confirmingly or denyingly because that's your decision. But
You know not what remedy of hell you have incurred.
anyways, the first conversation was pretty normal. They talked, they separated their parents, they decided they were going to have a come to Jesus moment for Jace. Then we cut over to Spencer. Spencer, after defrauding a pizza joint, decided he was going to take at least 5 of his closest clones to the moon. One of them, while on the moon and getting a spacesuit, accidentally jumped off into the void of space. They are immortal. They will be out there forever. But then they decided to take all the space junk floating around in space and spell Spencer's name on the moon. Not large enough that it can be seen from space from Earth by the naked eye, but enough that if you have a satellite and you're looking in the right place, or a telescope and you're looking in the right place, you can see it. And they decided to jump to Mars. Then they decided to jump to Mars, where in the absence of space junk, after prodding one of the rovers up there for an extended period of time and moving it around the Mars all the way twice, they decided that they were going to carve Spencer's name into the surface of Mars. However, Spencer failed his intelligence check to instigate his minions, which led to him spelling it ZPFNKER.
I still think Speenus was funnier.
After spelling out that atrocity, he flew back to Earth, but because of a failed roll, he accidentally picked up some kind of Martian flea, which he brought back to the base one when he reunited with Dahlia. Dahlia, in a moment of pure horror at the prospect of her friend being an alien, drew a gun on Spencer, rolled a natural 20 to identify that the alien was a flea, blew the flea away in one shot. The party was collecting space goo, and then all of the AI at the base went down. And now that the AI at the base has gone down, the party has gone down to see Jace, where they've encountered Jules. Also, we canonized...
Also, you forgot to mention Dahlia got her learner's permit.
Dahlia did get her learner's permit. She got a 27 on her driving test. That said, we canonized some
killed an
weird...
armadillo.
They did kill an armadillo. We canonized some weird ideas about her dad, where he believes that Al-Qaeda attacked the United States at 9/11 because they were instigated by the aliens. So the aliens could start a war between the United States and the Middle East to weaken both forces for the impending invasion.
All right, so let's see. Space fleas exist.
Correct.
Curiosity
her-
got battered around like a fucking cat toy.
Dahlia has her permit.
Yes.
Voyager. What one did you say?
We don't know
Curiosity.
which rover it
Curiosity.
was, but just one of the active rovers from 2002 was batted around the surface of Mars for a couple minutes. So you can decide what the ramifications of NASA believing there are cat aliens, some of them with wings, on Mars is. There is one Spencer clone that has been lost to the vacuum of space for eternity.
Yep, they are ageless, not immortal, by the way.
And Dahlia just quick draw shot an alien flea off of Spencer, killed it. Transient has collected a sample from it, and they are now down in the lab, getting uncomfortably close to Jules, as he introduced himself, and asking if they can have Jace back so they can I
Because
guess-
Dahlia also just found out that Jace was experimenting on himself when Dahlia was like perfectly fine.
So, Jules, quick question. Do you have periods where you seem to black out?
I don't black out, I lose control, and I don't particularly enjoy it, but...
So you're conscious during that time? Just not in control?
I am conscious every single time that Jace is conscious, but when he goes unconscious, I regain control.
Like a robot.
That is not even remotely correct.
Like
Like a
alien
robot.
possession.
That is also not alien. What?
Yeah. Ghosts aren't actually real, they're just aliens.
Now
and
listen.
they possess you.
I feel like there is anecdotal evidence that has been provided by Spencer that contradicts that statement, but please carry on.
I am hurt. Above board, I am hurt on that one. Ow.
The things that I'm going to say that I didn't canonize was I didn't canonize Spencer making his name large enough that it could be seen from the Earth at all times on the moon. And I also didn't canonize Dahlia's dad getting her permission to drive the old junker. However, he did say he'd put in a good word if she finished all her chores and finished writing her essay on killing aliens from Alpha Centauri.
Okay, I mean, that one is a bit of an important creative writing project, even though we all know it's fact.
You know, you're gonna have something fun to listen to.
Yeah, I am. I cannot wait to have to review all of this. Like,
You mean
It's
you
been
get
recorded
to review all of
for
this?
posterity.
my brain.
Anyways, seriously though, could you get this one to stop sniffing me, please? Kind of weird.
Spencer will gently come over and just kind of like grab Wilda's shoulder and go, Wilda, come on.
Wilda, he's fine. Kind of.
For the record, again, the reason I can't bring, Jace out right now is because he is in the process of resting. If I bring him out, he's going to be exhausted. I mean, imagine trying to go to sleep after an especially long day and then waking up to being throttled by your friends. No offense. And he is, well, his project is going pretty well. You can see the results of his research on that terminal over there. He'll gesture over to it with... Why is one of his arms robotic at the moment? Never mind that. He gestures over with the clearly robotic-looking arm, and the terminal lights up and starts listing data from the project. I'm in the process of simultaneously running 50% of the base's AI in the absence of Jace's technopathy to keep everything functional. And additionally, I'm in the process of running all of the data for the project, trying to keep a bunch of the systems active, and working on this.
Do you need any help?
While that is very thoughtful, it is completely unnecessary. Before, Jace was incredibly smart. I don't mean to disparage him, but he will tap the side of his head. I have a mind that functions quite literally exactly like a supercomputer. I can do everything at the base simultaneously.
You mean like make popcorn and pizza at the same time?
If the appliances are there, yes. Are you hungry, Spencer? That's a bad question. You're always hungry, aren't you?
He's gonna nod quickly.
I thought so.
Know you.
I have a general idea of the profiles I've got from what Jace has in his own mind, which I can access, and what the computer files have on all of you from here at the base.
Huh. What do they have on me? Dahlia pokes at the computer cautiously.
The computer doesn't really do anything because you've just poked the outside of it, but Jules will snap his fingers and the computer terminal will change to bring up basically a dossier on your observed abilities while wearing the belt, a few notable personality quirks, and lots of notations about things you've said with question mark, need citation, asterisk.
Yeah, the citation part's trouble with me too.
Jules, you want this genetic sample of something that's extraterrestrial?
Hang on, he will wave a hand and one of the modular walls in the lab will open as a doorway and lead into another room. Because I saw another great picture that can be used. Let's see, I'll just grab this one because it feels appropriate. For the record, the expansions are not complete yet. I'm still working on getting everything tuned up properly. Thankfully, with the modular components of the base, it hasn't been too hard, but I've been trying to renovate the treatment and analysis area so that a lot of people can use it now that we've got more people down here.
We did need to go look to make sure there was no damage to Edward.
Well, if you're looking for physical damage, there's an analysis machine right down there that you can go use, and he will point to what looks like the large IR machine, not IR, EKG machine, not EKG either. What's it called? CAT scan. The large CAT scan looking machine in the middle of the floor.
Spencer's gonna go, cat? You mean another cat? You got another cat?
We did not get a second cat, Spencer.
Alright, I'll
You
put
just
this
have
into the genetic
fleas. Why would you
sequencer
want a
and
friend?
I guess I'll put this in the genetic sequencer and I'll go get scanned. Whether you want to go get your mom to do this?
I mean, I knew how to use the old treatment room.
Would you like me to bring you up to speed on the new treatment room?
Yeah.
DM, purely for comedic purposes and because this is the ideal time to introduce this, may I have Jules roll, I believe it would be persuasion to describe everything in a, like, digestible manner?
Sure, go ahead and roll persuasion. We'll get everyone else's take, and then I'll make a quick judge call.
All right. I'd also like to add that one of my advantages as Jules is attractive 2, which gives me circumstance bonuses to interactions.
Something about the fact that you dyed your hair blonde.
I just thought of a really dark joke, but I'm not going to say it.
I do believe attractiveness too requires it to be of someone that would be technically attracted to you.
I have no idea. All it says on my sheet is that it's attractive to circumstance bonus based to circumstance bonus to interactions.
Attractive.
It's all that intelligence talk coming from a blonde.
Change the
person is
attitude of
what it
anyone
is.
who finds that your looks appealing. With second rank, you gain very attractive and you gain a +5 rather than a +2.
So it would be my base persuasion with a +5 bonus.
For those that would find your current appearance attractive.
I
Or
have no
appealing.
idea who that constitutes in the group. So I'll let the DM decide if I roll with that or not.
Actually, that actually does come down. It does come down to a bit of a judgment call. I can still say for some of the other people in regards to the rest of the base, but for the characters here, the group, they all have to give their own say. Because
Fair enough.
Dolly is bisexual and is probably cool with, and probably thinks you're attractive.
Fair enough.
all right, so you have an easier
He's a
time with
teenager,
Dahlia.
so like, you know.
Wilda's boyfriend is in the room.
Fair enough.
Well, that doesn't mean that you
that-
can't find someone attractive.
That is correct.
He's not the most attractive person in the room, though.
It doesn't need to be the most attractive, just attractive.
Listen, you can have whoever you can have whoever you want as your husband, and still be somewhat like that is some fine cake on that person. Someone walks by.
I'm glad you came back in time to add this riveting commentary, DM.
I feel remiss that I missed over an hour of not being able to add to any of this.
Transient's attracted, emotional and intellectual.
Well,
Processes.
Jules has a 9 in intellect.
Yeah, but he hasn't met Jules for longer than 30 seconds.
Well, he does. He
Well,
did
he's
just say his brain works like a supercomputer. So that's probably
he
a little
does not.
hot.
He does not find Jules physically attractive. No.
Okay. I guess then this would just be considered a +5 for Dahlia to learn, and would my eidetic memory apply to tell them literally everything about what's going on?
All right, but 1 minute, Spencer. What's your response?
Response to what?
Do you find Jules attractive?
There. He's aromantic asexual.
Fair enough. All right.
Well,
Now,
to be
hang
fair,
on. We
it
have
just
to
says
see if there's a
attractive, so
negative.
You could find a model aesthetically pleasing and find them
We
attractive,
have
but
to
not
see if there's a negative or positive interaction based off the fact that they made it canonical that Spencer idolizes Jace.
yeah.
This is true. We have to see.
Would you like to leave it in the hands of the dice gods?
No, Spencer likes what is it? Jules. Spencer likes
Okay.
Jules, and he also likes Jace. He likes that person a lot, no matter what personality it is.
Okay.
It's
Aw,
like-
that is sweet.
Yeah.
So that would be a +5 bonus for Dahlia and Spencer for their result, and then
A
eidetic
+2
memory
for
bonus or
Buttle.
no?
Eidetic memory
or-
bonus would count towards this GM. These are 2 separate bonuses that get added on. They're not
Okay.
circumstance stuff.
All right. So +5 for the attractive bonuses for 2 of the characters, and then a +5 for edict memory for the base roll.
In that case, the first roll I'm going to do without adding the second +5 for attractiveness is going to be a +15, which is a 33. So It's very scientific, but where Jace would have just been all science without making it digestible for those who aren't fully up to speed. He is incredibly good at making this digestible content for people who may not be fully up to the level, and he does it without being demeaning or particularly like. He's not dismissing those who aren't maybe up to the same level where they can understand every super scientific word. I guess the best way to say is that he's good enough at this so that coming out the other side, he has a 38 to explain all of this technology to Spencer and Dahlia.
He puts it in such a way that layman's terms are used and people are able to understand.
Makes sense to me.
Right, so rather than being hit with like the nanomachines are reactive to frequencies of certain hertz, you tell them the little machines respond to music.
I love music. Music's my favorite. What kind of songs do they like?
He will list off a couple songs in response to that, but the main thing was that he was explaining how the new treatment room works after all of the improvements and upgrades so that Wilda would be able to use it just straight off the bat, no problems at all. And I think a 33 or I guess a 35, if they do have a +2 bonus for them, would be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they it would be your guys' choice to do a roll or do a passive check.
For
What are we rolling for?
we're not doing opposing checks, Mir, so
Yeah, no,
Right,
I'm just
you're right.
explaining to them.
No, everyone is able to comprehend this and digest the new information well enough, including Wilda, especially Wilda. As the new room does, in fact, open up not too far away from you guys. Ironically, the one person who's oblivious to all of this, Daniel, is caught off guard as the walls reveal the new room, and he looks caught in like a deer in a headlight. When was this made? I've been living here for like the past month. When was this made? Jeez.
Jules is going to look at him and say, there is a lot that can be done in a single 8-hour scheduled block of sleeping every evening.
The bags under his eyes deepen as he's trying to comprehend what you just slapped him with. Before he goes, I'm asleep on it. You know what? That sounds great. Perfect.
Mm.
I have a question, Jules. How is his body getting rest if you're piloting it?
So, what we know as fatigue is effectively the functional buildup of lactic acid inside the body. And over time, that lactic acid will wear down on muscles, and those muscles will need time to heal. Effectively, with this, he will tap the suit he's wearing. This suit functionally allows me to circumvent that process by using the nanomachines that Jace injected into his form to then quickly heal the damage in basically fractions of a second. And as for the mental part of resting, I get rest when Jace is conscious, and whether or not Jace knows it or not, he gets rest while I am conscious. The difference is I remember due to my brain functioning like a computer distinctly from his own. And
so
he doesn't.
so you've effectively partitioned your personality away while he's awake.
Not voluntarily, but yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Perseus, do you mind calling Marla down here so that she can add more stuff to her research?
You guys briefly see as you say this, Jules' left eye light up blue as if it is not a real eye and is in fact an artificial one. And then Perseus quickly responds, affirmative, calling for Marla Thrussell now.
Let's go get this worked on.
remind me, does your base have like express tunnels that pull people from like wherever they're at their own home into the main base, a la Whoop?
So there, if we recall from last session, I believe at this point he has made pathways that lead to each member of the team's home, and they have functional elevators. And we gave a key card for the elevator to Marla.
Marla's in the base, though. We just gave her wine.
Yeah, they just pulled her off of Kitsuragi, so they're working in separate parts of the base. We
They
are
pulled
effectively
her
an
off
economic-
Kisaragi, not Kisaragi off of her.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Regardless, we're saying that outside of Dahlia getting her learner's permit, which happened earlier, everything that's happening now is like in the next 10 minutes after the end of last time.
Okay. It takes a few minutes as Marla does come down.
Transient has put the alien DNA into the genetic sequencer and has laid down in the CAT scan while Puddle's doing all of the setup for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, children. You got called. What's going on? Ooh, that is a unique liquid. Excuse me, children. What the heck? Ooh, different formation. Nice lab. Does it have a microscope?
I think there's an electron microscope over there by the back wall.
Ah, perfect. I'm gonna be looking at this here shortly. So, what did I get called down here for before I take this lovely new?
We're double checking to see how much further my condition has advanced.
She raises a curious eyebrow as she puts down the container of space goo. Okay, give me a moment. Let's see here. I am not familiar with half of these buttons. Okay,
Talk to your daughter. She got the rundown.
Would it be? Yeah, I was gonna ask. Would it be a check from Wilda this time?
Oh, gosh.
yes, or you can, yeah. Keep
It'd be a check at a +5, Puddle.
Or you can hand it back to Jules to do it and just help him so he has a better bonus. Because this one does have teamwork.
So don't I. Hold on, just looking at persuasion. You know what? I think I want to try. Jules can step in when I fail.
Fair enough.
And this is with the teamwork, guys.
Still a 10.
Yep.
Well, Dahlia's feeling smart. I'll have Dahlia roll.
This is a
Her
persuasion.
intelligence is at the high point. So
This is
Just for
persuasion.
persuasion. Ah,
Yeah.
she's gonna go do terribly, but I'll do it anyway. Yeah.
That really is terribly. That one.
Jules is just standing there with his
For
human
me,
arm
the
currently
lesbian
working.
alien hunter. Also, I killed an armadillo today.
Jules is currently typing away on a few different devices at once, just letting you guys make your attempts.
Marla follows.
Again.
What?
What are we trying to do?
Persuasion to explain all of the technology to Dr. Marla Russell.
That's not happening with Spencer, but I'm going to go ahead and try. I have
Good
a
lad.
+4 to persuasion. Would you allow me to have any bonus for this?
You'll get a teamwork bonus of +5 if you have teamwork.
I don't have teamwork. Oh well. That's a 14.
Why don't you
It's
have
the
teamwork?
highest
You
so
can
far.
teamwork with your clones.
I have teamwork with my clones, but I just don't have it on Spencer.
Spencer default, incapable of working with a team. Spencer the Legion, always a team.
It's a joke, an inside joke.
It's like
Spencer.
herding. It's like herding cats.
Except
like
Spencer
herding
can
cats.
actually herd cats.
There's only so many people who can herd cats. And if it's not Spencer, it's a particular weatherman.
Yes, it is.
Either
Oh,
way.
that
the
was
other thing,
another
Bobby.
conspiracy theory.
That was the other thing we forgot to mention. Dahlia made a joke about dogs being used by aliens to
Oh, no, that was
manipulate
absolutely. She believes that.
to manipulate humans by biting them and infecting them with something that makes them more susceptible to the aliens. And Spencer internalized that as that dogs biting humans causes global warming. And
Yeah,
Spencer
Yes.
internalized that as global warming plus dogs equals aliens. Therefore, the weatherman works with aliens.
Yeah, dog bites lead to global warming because then you fart more and release more methane. So that's why keeping your dog on a leash saves you from global warming.
Alright. As a quick side note for you all at home, we have a bunch of fresh new hashtags to go through. A few that the GM hasn't read out, so.
Oh, lordy. What are we? It's so weird DMing in another universe. Hashtag no one expects the Japanese pantheon. Hashtag one small step for cats. Hashtag one giant leap into oblivion. Hashtag cats on the moon. Hashtag conspiracy theorist sweat dream. Hashtag cats on Mars. Hashtag cat in the void. Hashtag zpink. Hashtag fleas on Mars. Oh god. Hashtag alien booby. Hashtag alien booby traps. Hashtag soda in the engine.
Would you like me to explain hashtag alien booby traps and hashtag hot alien vixens that turn into idealized sex idols?
You took the wind out of my sail. I was so giddy to read that out loud, and you stole it. You stole it. You ruined it. Continue with your RP.
Good day, sir.
Also, Spencer owns Mars, hashtag Space Flea, hashtag Space Flea Juice, hashtag Michael Secret Stuff, hashtag Spencer Legion be like, hashtag We Are the Proletariat.
I think I broke his GM.
Do you want me to explain that one?
I want you to continue the RP. I'm already more
The hot alien vixen
I'm
to
gonna find that out. I'm gonna find that out when I review this whole video. Right now, let me just maul over the fact that the one time I was excited to the one time my personal fix came up and you stole it from me.
Ian, give it your hardest and most dramatic read. I want to hear you do it at 157%. Come on, man.
That's alien vixens that turn into idolized sex idols.
Someone clip that and port it onto the soundboard, please.
Jesus, take me now.
Cutting back to reality, do any of the explanations explain to Marla? With a 10, a natural 1, and a 14.
Marla blinks a couple of times as while she was somewhat picking up on how to start the generalized scanning and general testing. The mention of you can use this button to remove the alien guts from the host. Oh, and you can use this to crush shells, just like how I crushed an armadillo shell earlier today. Completely threw her off.
Would you like me to have... Go ahead.
And then Spencer's mark of, oh, and here's the pizza button. Oh, and this one acts like the pizza button, but it only spins the table. So maybe it's not the pizza button.
Would you like me to have Jules roll to explain?
By all
You've done
means.
enough today.
18.
Your additional helps seems to guide her enough to be able to turn on the machine and start going through the process of diagnosing and inspecting Edward in a bioptic manner. The scanners do several series of flashing, going over your body, up, down, left, right, a little bit of a quarter circle turn, double checking in certain areas. Marla is able to manipulate the scanning portion a bit better once she finds the controller that actually brings down the scanner to be able to like start analyzing the gut region where most of the hard feeling that you've been experiencing is at. After all the scanning, there is a deep vibration coming from the table as it does one last assessment before several sheets of paper come spewing up from the head of the table where Edward is at. Bear in mind the computer-esque desk that operates the table is only like 3 feet away, enough to give it space where it circles around, but not enough to impede anybody. So she's able to get up and go over to the papers and start reading through.
Now, once she starts to move one to the back, I take it and read it.
Oh, so you take the paper before she does?
I was wanting to, yeah.
Okay. So she gets up as you are already over there, making your motions over there, and grab the paper before she does. Edward, your condition seems to be strange. You are recovering from the near detriment that you've suffered, but it notes that several of your intestines, both large and small, have been calcified. And while you are slowly recovering, more than likely from every time you absorb souls, or portions of souls, it gives the stone enough energy to be able to return the muscles, or the muscles and organs back to normal. But along with several parts of your inner intestines, your stomach has turned into a. It didn't just calcify; it has turned into a marble. A marble stomach, yeah, marble. It has marbleized. Thank you. Your stomach has marbleized. Your guts have spots of calcifications here and there.
Have you been able to eat normally?
As far as I can tell.
You have, and strangely, nothing has really changed your habits per se, whether eating, dining, relieving. You've only just been feeling this weird pain. So from that you can tell that that the organs are still functioning, but the absolute discomfort that you have been feeling this past while is because the outsides of your organs have started to change from the interaction of pulling truth into being. While there isn't any like timeline suggestions of how far it could do or how far it could undo, it does note that high reading of foreign substances ranging from uh, battery acid like substances, um, carcinogenic substances, to even carbon monoxide substances, like straight up liquidized carbon monoxide floating in your body, and yet you haven't died.
Wouldn't that be like super cold?
It should be.
You
What
have
should be?
literal ice flowing through your veins.
Uh,
Or it could be super duper high pressure.
I mean, respectfully, my assumption at this point was that, if I recall, you'd drawn from Wilda a few times. I'd be likely to assume that that's the reason why the cold's not bothering you.
Ooh,
I like that. I like that. I like it a lot.
I dig
it.
I mean, you do take something from everyone you draw from, so it made sense to me, at least on a surface level. I don't really know that much about alchemy, but
literal ice flowing through your veins. Bro, that's metal.
I'm gonna look at the gauge that shows his temperature.
The gauge right now is showing in Fahrenheit. You know, translate. Let me work with me for a quick second. What would be a shocking body temperature to have while still functioning? If normal core temperatures is what, 86
90 degrees.
Thank you.
90
So,
degrees.
So core temperature would be about 98.6. That is your average core temperature of the human body. That is what allows it to function optimally. If it's below by 5 degrees or above by 10, you're either dying or very close to death. Anything below 80 is usually core freezing and you're starting to shut down. And anything below 75 is you're dead, probably.
Yeah,
You're-
it's not compatible with life.
It's not compatible with human life.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, then we'll say that your body is resting at a. Would a 91 be just perturbing enough?
Yes. That would be you're starting to go into hypothermia ranges at that
And-
point.
And yet you haven't exhibited that just yet. Your body is showing that you should be feeling cold as hell and barely even functioning. Yet blood's still pumping. You're still pink. You're still warm color for your skin tone. Let me phrase that better.
Maybe you
And
did take
sorry, go
something
ahead.
from me.
I don't feel any different from normal, at least.
Well, with my curiosity being piqued at how much you all are talking, yoink! As your mother takes the paper from your hands.
Okay.
Now let's see here when we go. Oh. Okay, now that is curious with how much you. That makes sense why you're asking. You don't feel cold at all.
No?
You do not feel cold at all. Okay. You haven't thrown up at all? You haven't had any like bad reactions to food?
No. Everything's been functioning normally, technically.
You have had no real complications other than the slight pains in your gut area, but otherwise, no. Food has been edible. You have not had any problems digesting, as far as you can tell. Bathroom use has been safe.
Far as I can tell.
Huh. Okay, that's good. If this is reading right, I'm gonna need a sample of your blood, just so I can examine it a bit more.
before you do that, grab one of the hazmat suits.
Point taken. She's not even questioning it. She already understands.
And he will point out to where one of the hazmat suits would be. And I guess probably best. Yeah, this feels like the best description considering how what he is right now is functioning. Instead of putting on a hazmat suit, It looks like metal just comes out from Jules' skin to cover over his mouth and nose like a breathe mask.
Jules, did you inject yourself with enough nanites to create a full-on bodysuit?
No, not nearly that many. This is me directly manipulating the slag. That's why I've actually concentrated all the slag for the most part into this little faceplate here and this arm. That is purely down to, the part that would normally surface when using the belt.
Mobilization of stomach. So I'm trying to catch up on my own notes over here.
We should all probably go into the scanner.
I will
Dahlia
admit,
shrugs and says, "Oh, okay.
it would
Do I need
probably
to
be
like
helpful
pop
with
up on the steel table or something?"
yes,
Transient
just
will get off the table.
Okay.
just good.
Sorry, I do apologize. Just one more time. Calcification of the small intestines and large intestines, mobilization of the stomach, carbon monoxide liquid in bloodstream. I know I said one other thing. Remind me?
Was it
There.
the cold temperatures thing of 91 degrees?
Yes, body showing at 91 degrees temp.
Yeah, you also said carcinogens and at least one other substance flowing through.
But regarding the rest of you running through the scanner, I'm sure that would certainly be helpful for your friend's research. I've been trying to do my best to work on it in the background while I've been working on all my equipment, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's amazing he's made it this far with only being willing to take anecdotal evidence that he's gotten from field tests with the belt and his own self-inflicted tests.
Well,
Yeah,
you could
Jace
have
is
tested
amazing.
on me. I mean, I can't really get much worse.
That is factually incorrect.
I have to agree with your friend there. Unfortunately, the slag is not exactly the most friendliest thing that you all have been experiencing. I can tell you from my own personal research, it's chaotic. Not only does it changes without without a full end. It's like it's constantly changing, trying to find something better before it almost circles back into itself or into a better version of itself, and it just continues this cycle of attempting to improve what's not there.
Forgive
So this
me.
is better? Dahlia gestures at her everything.
I would like to give it this analogy. I feel like inherently, the slag is to a certain extent much like a virus. It does seek total cohabitation with its host. It doesn't want to kill the host because that would be bad for itself, assuming it is a living organism and not just a material. But under that assumption, and based off what I've seen, it seems like it will always start at the worst possible point for itself and for the host. And the longer the host survives, the more it will try and reiterate itself to better function between the two.
That would explain why mostly does a lot of the changes during during puberty for most children. Why it doesn't have much of an effect on adults already
Wait,
passed.
if it's making people better, why am I getting worse?
When I say better, it's not based off of what we consider better. It's based off of what it initially perceives.
I have a theory on that front, although I am certain that my counterpart would want to strangle me for making this suggestion.
Well, I have the right to know, don't I?
Have you ever heard in comics about something called basically a healing factor, like natural regeneration, but cranked up to an extreme degree?
Yeah, I think so.
The way that normally functions is that it always works to an extreme degree to restore the body to a fully healthy state.
Like
I
Wolverine.
believe- Yes, I believe your body is trying to do something similar. However, based off what I
What's he trying
understand,
to fix?
the activation condition for what happened with you was at the point you had unfortunately passed, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
You know, I can't remember if Dahlia knows that she's dead or not.
As I understand it from the readings, the way it activated for you was the origin state, as it were, was you already in a state of decomposition. And as you are deteriorating over time as a result of that, it is trying to continually keep you in the original state. But you continue to decompose because it is not necessarily healing you. It is still keeping you in a state where you are technically deceased. And I believe that the reason you're still functioning despite the deterioration is that, well, for better or worse, it believes that your natural state was that state where it originally activated. And I think that's why you restored to full vitality when you activated the belt. Because the belt is activated from the moment of its activation with a set of parameters based around your blood sample, your DNA. And obviously, your DNA doesn't start thinking you're dead. So I believe that when the belt's activated and the slag reconfigured based on your DNA, it shifted around its parameters, and that's why you healed immediately, because you're supposed to be in a healthy condition. And I'm trying to figure out, and Jace is trying to figure out, how to activate that all the time.
So it's keeping me alive, but it's keeping me dead at the same time?
Go ahead.
If anything, it sounds like as powerful and as improvising as these slags can be, they're only able to focus on one problem at a time. What your problem could have been at the time is that your body stopped being for maybe a second. Whether the heart stopped, the mind was still thinking, but the blood, but the body wasn't able to receive any functions or whatnot. It probably took on that ideal to return functions back. But not knowing how a body works, it probably just bypass the beating heart situation. Thus, is zombification.
And the reason you're probably so carnivorous now is because, in the absence of understanding how to properly regenerate your body, it's just having you replace lost biomass with intake biomass.
Then you can only imagine how much energy you're burning without being able to store or even refuel.
Correct. And I believe
Dahlia
that's also
swallows and takes a step back and says, I gotta go. And she takes off running.
It was your turn on the scanner. Your
And
friend,
I actually have to go to bed now, guys. So,
Mhm.
night.
I guess we'll get
Bye.
back to that later. Bye, Doc.
Wilda's hackles are raised. Then what about me? Why did I lose control of my body? She's trying not to cuss in front of her mother.
The mother, your mom winces as she looks over towards the new room, new lab. That is still a question I'm trying to find. Still a question I'm trying to answer.
I have a theory on that front too, as well, actually, although it's a bit more grim than Dahlia's situation, if you'd believe it.
Then go ahead. As ice starts to form around her. I rolled a 7 on my will check.
Well, Miss Marla, from what I've observed, you have a somewhat limited but capable ability to manipulate moisture and liquid, yes? Looking at the DM.
Sorry, one more time.
Miss Marla, if I'm not mistaken, you have the ability to innately manipulate moisture and liquids to a certain extent, correct?
She eyeballs Jules for a few seconds. I would call it vapors, in truth, gaseous forms. I can condense liquids into the gas, but it's mostly the vapors and gas I'm able to control by pure will.
But it does stem from liquid innately. And if I recall, there was a trick well, I'm not sure if trick's the appropriate word. There was the thing you did a while back, according to Jace's notes, where you were able to turn wine into mist you could manipulate.
Yes.
I have reason to believe that innately, because that did not stem from the slag, that was a genetic trait that appeared on its own, and for the time being, I will refer to that as the metahuman phenomenon. Assuming the metahuman phenomenon formed on its own in you, and assuming that the metahuman phenomenon is genetic, my assumption is that much like most things that are genetic, as it moves down the line, it improves and changes and tries to iterate, trying to come to the best version of itself through natural selection. I have reason to believe that whatever the activation condition for the slag with your daughter was, I suspect that it hyper-focused on her inherited metahuman trait. And unfortunately, as we've demonstrated already, speaking of Dahlia, when it hyper-focuses, it doesn't necessarily stick to the boundaries of what is classified as human. With all that to say, my assumption is that the slag, for one reason or another, has confused the metahuman genome that she has, which has an ability to manipulate vapors and liquids, and presumably liquids in frozen form based off the ice, that it believes that her natural state is actually liquid by focusing so much on that metahuman genome. And that's why when she's not focusing, it tries to turn her into liquid.
Wilda's mother seems to be in a bit of a standstill as she contemplates the suggestion. You see her pull out one of the pencils from your nearby stock and begins to write several things on a blank sheet of paper before she seems to circle one tidbit. I need to ask a friend something. Don't worry about it. It's probably won't happen for about another 2 weeks, but I need to call a friend.
All right. With all that having been said, did you want to use the scanner, or would you prefer to wait, Wilda?
I should probably use the scanner to find out why these, and she flicks her ears, have come up.
I was under the impression that had to do with whatever that peyote trip that Spencer was telling me was about was. Or rather, telling Jules about. Not Jace. Jules. Jace. Telling Jace about.
I only had it after I was forced into my water form.
You told me that you went on to a spiritual trip with your friends over at the reservation, but you didn't tell me the peyote was involved.
Probably
It
wasn't
wasn't.
exactly peyote, but
There's a weird look that you get from your mother as she's like tapping on the paper that she was writing on. I now have to visit 2 friends. But it's okay. It's fine. So long as you're safe, you're here. And I have so many questions. So, did you want to do? Did you want to be scanned, dear? If not, no worries. We can go and have lunch.
I said yes
Okay. then,
as a spray of ice comes out.
Tim, I would like
Uh,
to ask a question actually about something.
Partially coding transient, who is hugging her.
DM,
hmm?
I know that nano regeneration is exclusive to not Jace, Jules personally, and it's part of his nano armor. However, nano healing is not just personal, it's close range. If Transient is willing, could I try and use nano healing to speed up the decalcification?
You can try, but it will not get rid of it today. It
No,
will
that's
speed
fine.
it up.
He's just trying to see if he can speed it up with the help of nanomachines using nano healing 10.
And with that, Puddle and I have to go.
Yep, the roads aren't too good.
Uh,
Yeah, it's been snowing outside.
Mm-hmm.
It
Would this
hasn't
be the-
snowed here yet.
oh god, it's never going to snow here, not until the middle of next summer or some bullshit. But would this be a good place to wrap?
Yes, we'll call it here for the night. If it feels necessary amongst the group, we will discuss the possibility of In-Betweener Part 3, The Lands in Between.
Okay.
And we will see you all again in 2 weeks.
See you later, guys.
Bye bye.
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 Next time.
Everyone.
As I contemplate what I'm going to do with these space, please.